Stop letting your best tattoo work die on a single feed while you burn yourself out trying to film something new every day. Most tattoo artists I talk to are stuck in the same cycle. You spend 2 hours setting up a reel, you film it, you edit it, you post it, and maybe it gets 100 views, maybe 200, and then it's gone. And tomorrow you do the same thing again, all over. That's not a content strategy, that's a hamster wheel. And in 2026, you don't need to be on it. Because here's the bit that nobody's told you yet. One reel is all you need to dominate every platform. Not 10 posts, not 5 pieces of content, one piece, one reel. And I'm going to show you exactly how AI turns that video into a range of different pieces of content that keeps working long after that single reel dies. By the end of this video, I'm going to give you the framework of how to do it. So let's get into it. Let me tell you why you're burning out. And it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you don't care about your business. It's because at some point, probably from a marketing guru or a YouTube video, someone told you the answer was volume. Post every day, film everything, be everywhere, always be creating. And that advice completely falls apart when you run a real studio and you still have to, actually tattoo. Now think about what your week actually looks like. You're spending 6, 8, sometimes 10 hours a day actually tattooing clients. You've got consultations to run, designs to draw, client messages to reply to every single night. And maybe you've got artists from your studio sending you screenshots and asking, can you sort this out for me? And on top of all of that, you've got a studio to manage. And then there's this invisible second job that nobody warned you about, and that's the content job. So here's what manual content creation actually costs you. You set up your phone, you try and find a decent angle, film the reel, and that can take 20 to 30 minutes. It just goes like that. Then you have to edit it, add music, sync the cuts, another, 35 to 40 minutes. Then you write the caption, you're thinking about what to say to get the best reaction. Mess about with hashtags, another 20 minutes sometimes, and that's on a good day. So when you already know what you're filming. On a bad day, you're wandering around the studio thinking, what do I even post today? While there's a client waiting and there's someone asking where the stencil paper's gone, or if there's any toilet paper because it's run out in the bathroom, all of the studio stuff that comes along. And that part alone can eat up to an hour. So our time gets eaten away and we have so little of it. So now you're spending maybe a couple of hours a week producing content. And Instagram might show people that content for 48 hours before burying it. If you're doing that 5 days a week, you've built yourself a second job on top of the one you already have. And unlike tattooing, where the hours usually connect to revenue, this version of content gives you less and less back the more tired you get. Now, I've worked with over 170 studios now, and this pattern shows up consistently. The worst thing I see is not artists who never post, it's artists who try to post constantly, and then they burn themselves out. Then they started posting randomly when they had time, or when the diary was empty, panic posting. And that's where the whole thing becomes reactive. Clients check your page before the book, and they start seeing no consistency. You feel a little bit behind, a little bit unprofessional. So you post again in more of a panic. And that's the treadmill. And the way out is not waking up earlier, filming more, or spending Sundays batch creating content you already resent. The way out is using the content you already make properly. Now let me show you something, because once you see it, you can't really unsee it. You do a post, it lasts 48 hours, and then it's dead. And that's how most tattoo studios use content. Now change it, post, clip it, resize it, turn it into a carousel for Instagram, turn it into a blog, pull stills from the video and then distribute it. The same tattoo, same reel, same work, completely different lifespan. And that's the whole game. Here's a number that should change how you think about this. If you only post on Instagram, you're putting your best work out in one room of an entire building and hoping the right client walks in. Meanwhile, your potential clients are on TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, Google, and half a dozen other places you never showed up. There are 2 billion people on Instagram, 2 billion people on YouTube, and you're applying your images to a few thousand people. So imagine how big a hit you were taking by only posting that one reel. So when other studio owners tell me that we need more reach, what they usually mean is, we keep posting in one place and we're wondering why bookings still feel patchy. So think about it in studio terms. Let's say you do a Japanese sleeve and it's a big piece, loads of detail, 20 hours of work, and you post the reel. It gets 400 views, maybe 30 followers. Fine. That's the Instagram result. But what else could that piece have done? It could have become a blog called Japanese Irizumi Sleeve Tattoo in Kettering, or wherever you're based. It makes no difference. So someone searches for that exact style in your city and your work comes up. Not because they were casually scrolling, it was when they were actively looking. That is a completely different kind of attention. It could have become a Pinterest post because people sit there for months building boards before they ever message an artist. So if your work isn't there, you don't exist in that part of their decision. It could have become a carousel explaining the process. Consultation, design, first session, final result, healed, shot. The kind of post that people save when they're thinking, that's the sort of artist that I want. And that matters. Saves me an intent. Not always immediate booking, but serious intent. And that's worth more than a pile of random likes. Every reel you post and don't repurpose is a conversation you never had with the right person. A search result you never showed up in, a booking that went to someone else because your work wasn't where that client was looking. You're not just losing time, you're wasting reach you already earned. And once you see that, you stop thinking, how do I make more content? And you start asking, how do I get more out of the content I already have? So here's the framework I want you to start thinking in. I call it the content nucleus. And the idea is simple. Instead of creating 10 different pieces of content for 10 different platforms, you create one strong piece of content, one high quality reel, and you let AI help you break it out into everything else you need. That one reel becomes the nucleus, then the blog post, then the carousel, then the Pinterest pin, the short clips, the Google business update. They all come from one original piece. You create the asset once, the system handles the rest. Now, this is where most people misunderstand repurposing. They think it means copying the same caption and pasting it everywhere, and it just doesn't. That's lazy repurposing, and it usually looks lazy too. So different platforms need different things. Google wants words, Pinterest wants searchable inspiration. Instagram saves come from posts that teach, explain, or show a process. YouTube Shorts want different framing again, and these are different jobs. And the only reason most studios don't do any of them properly is because doing it manually, it just takes too long. AI removes that bottleneck, not by replacing your creativity, by removing the extra admin around it. So you film a 60-second reel, and maybe it's black work floral piece, maybe it's a cover-up reveal, maybe it's a close-up of a heel tattoo that you're just particularly proud of. That moment of filming is still the creative part. That's still your eye, your work, your style. But once you've got that, the rest can be turned into other formats without you starting from scratch every single time. And that's what makes the content nucleus useful. One video, one asset, multiple outcomes. And let me show you how it actually works. Okay, here's where I get practical, and before I walk you through it, notice this. Tattoo content already has an advantage. You're not in some niche where you need to waffle into a camera for 5 minutes. You're showing actual work, a real time lapse, a reveal, a healed result, the close-up, the visual is the asset. That gives you a head start. AI doesn't need you to become a podcaster overnight. It needs the image, the result, and a few lines of context about what the piece is. So here's the 3-move system built for how tattoo artists actually work. Move 1, write once, then turn it into a platform-ready copy. After you post your reel, open Claude or ChatGPT and type something like this. I just posted a reel of a Japanese-style sleeve I completed. It took 14 hours across 3 sessions. The client wanted cherry blossoms and a koi fish in a traditional Irizumi style. Write me an Instagram caption, a 400-word blog post for my website, and a Pinterest description targeting people searching for Japanese tattoos in whatever place you're in, whatever town, whatever city, and that's it. One prompt, less than a minute. And now instead of staring at a blank screen, trying to write 3 things from scratch, you've got a usable first draft for all of them. And the big win here is not just speed, it's reach. That blog post can sit on your website and pull searches in long after that reel is dead. I know this because my website does the same thing. And that's the kind of content that keeps working while you're tattooing. Move 2, pull stills from the reel and build a carousel. And this part is massively overlooked. Most artists already filmed the content, they just never slice it up. Open that reel up in CapCut, scrub through it, export 4 to 6 strong frames from it, whether it's the outline, the shading, the color, the final result, the heel shot if you've got it, whatever it needs to be, and then drop those into Canva. Keep it as simple as you can, 1 line of text per slide. Show the process, show the stages, show the thinking, and now you've got a post people actually might save, because it gives them more than a quick reveal. It gives them context of your process. And this is the bit studio owners miss. A saved post often means someone is considering you. You want your work sitting in that saved folder when they're ready. Move 3. Turn your best work into something Google can actually find. This is the move most studios ignore completely. Go and search your own style plus your town or city. Japanese tattoos, Bournemouth. Black work tattoos, Sheffield, whatever it is. Most of the time, what ranks isn't Instagram, it's pages with text on them. Blog posts, studio pages, articles, because Google can't properly understand an image on its own. It needs context. So when you take that reel and turn it into a blog post with your style, city, your process, and your images, you make that piece of work searchable in a way Instagram never was. 1 reel, 1 prompt, a few stills. Now that piece is doing more than one job across a range of platforms. That's the system. And just so this doesn't sound too neat on paper, let me give you a real world version of it. One studio owner that I worked with in Eastbourne had this exact same problem. It was great work, posting all the time, but still had gaps on Wednesdays and Thursdays, sat up replying to DMs at midnight, looking to try and fill the diary. And when we looked at the content, the problem absolutely was not quality. The problem was lifespan. Every post was just a one-time event. So we picked that one reel that had already done really well. It was a black and grey sleeve. It had a lot of saves, it had a lot of comments, and it had a lot of likes. So we stretched it out properly. We made carousels, a blog, some shorter cuts. We put it onto the Google business page, the same tattoo in different formats. And within weeks, that one piece brought in more useful inbound work than weeks of daily posting had done before that. Not because the artist suddenly got better, but because the system finally matched the quality of the work. Now, I want to give you something you can actually do today. Not next week, not after you've bought software and hired someone or built some ridiculous tech stack. Today, between clients if you need to. And here's your first week within the Content Nucleus system. Day 1, find your nucleus. Go into Instagram Insights and find your best performing reel from the last 90 days. Not the one with the most views, the one with the most saves and the most shares. That's the one people cared enough to either keep or to send to someone else. And that's your first nucleus. Don't film anything new. Don't overthink it. Just start with what has already proven itself. Day 2, run the AI prompt from earlier in this video. Open Claude or ChatGPT and describe the reel properly. Include the style, the placement, the session time, what the client wanted, and anything else interesting about the piece. Then use a prompt like, I'm a tattoo artist specializing in black work in Sheffield. I posted a reel of whatever the piece was. Write me 3 things. An Instagram caption with a hook, a call to action, and a 400-word blog post for people searching for black work in Sheffield, and a Pinterest description with relevant keywords. Now that's enough to get the engine going. And from there, you just edit it a little bit so it sounds like you, it has your brand voice. Day 3, build the carousel. Open that reel in CapCut, pull 4 to 6 stills that show the piece properly. So the outline, the shading, the color, the final wrap, put them into Canva, keep the design nice and clean, and use 1 line per slide. The last slide should have the studio name, the location, and a booking link. Then post that carousel 3 to 5 days after the original reel, so the same piece gets a second wave of attention. Day 4, publish it to Google. Take that blog post you created, add it to your website, whatever that's on, Squarespace, Wix, WordPress, whatever you're on, and include 2 or 3 images. Embed the reel into it if that makes sense, and add your location, your style, and then publish it. Then submit the page in the Google Search Console. Now that tattoo isn't just content, it's searchable. When people are on Google, you are more likely to come up. Day 5, publish it as a Pinterest pin. Take the strongest still, upload it to Pinterest, and use a description that AI wrote for you. Add the website link, done. It takes 5 minutes, and unlike Instagram, that post is actually built for discovery over time. Pinterest works differently. So there's another advantage there. Now look, that is 1 week, 1 reel, 5 actions, multiple places, multiple pieces for future clients to actually find you. Now imagine doing that every single time you finish a proper piece that you're proud of. Every sleeve, every cover up, every heel tattoo, every custom design that took you hours to get right. Instead of living for 48 hours on Instagram, that work starts moving across Google, Instagram, Pinterest, your website at the same time. And while you're back in the chair doing your actual job, that piece is going way more viral than it ever had. I have worked with over 170 studios, and the ones who keep relying on Instagram alone are usually the ones who are feeling the most inconsistent. The clients booking in 2026 are not all sitting on one app. They're searching styles on Google, they're saving ideas on Pinterest months before they inquire, and they are watching short-form content on multiple platforms. They're comparing artists before they ever bother to send a message. People these days are much more discerning than they were 10 years ago, so the artists who show up in more than one place are the ones who feel easier to find, easier to trust, and much easier to book. And it's not always the artists who are working the hardest. It's usually the ones with the better system. A system that AI provides. You don't need to become a full-time content creator. You do not need to talk to the camera every day. You do not need to spend your evenings writing blog posts from scratch. You need one strong reel, one clean workflow, and a system that stretches the value of the work you've already done. And that work, one reel, one prompt, one carousel, one blog post, one Pinterest pin. That's not more work. That's the same work used properly. If your studio only grows when you post something new, you don't have a marketing system, you've got a content treadmill. And if you want help building systems like this properly inside your studio, that's exactly what the Elite Tattoo Academy is for. It's not more noise, not more random content advice, systems. Systems that make your marketing keep working while you're tattooing. And if you want me to break down the exact prompts, tools, or workflow for any part of this, drop a comment and tell me what you want next. But right now, go build your nucleus. Your next client's probably already looking for your style. You just need them to be able to find it. The nucleus is going to help you do that. I'll catch you in the next one.